Adrian Phillips.
Soon.
All right, we got him now. I was going to say
so soon. In fact, he'll be the next voice you hear.
That's right. I thought we were going to slide back a little bit, but here is Adrian Phillips in for Jalen Mills with us on a Patriots Friday on WEEI. He's brought to us by Town Fair Tire. For the best prices on tires, nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. By Zudy, build any app your company needs in a week. By Anderson Windows and your local Anderson Windows dealer. And by Shaw's and Star Market, perfecting the art of fresh. Patriot safety Adrian Phillips with Gresh and Keefe on the Harbor One hotline. Adrian, good morning.
Good morning. How y'all doing?
Well, really the question is, how y'all doing? It feels like forever since you guys have played a game. Has this been a necessary, almost mini bye week for you?
I would say so. We had a tough little stretch over there. I think we had like 3 games in 12 days or whatever it was. So it was good to kind of get them 3 to 4 days off and have everybody recoup and get back in with new energy and just move on to the next week. So I think it worked out for us.
A lot has obviously been made of the mobile quarterback, and Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields had pretty good games against you guys. Kyler Murray coming up on Monday night. How similar or different is he to those guys, and what kind of challenges does he present?
He's similar to the fact that, he can spray at any time. He's back there. He's looking around, looking for D-Hop, looking for Brown, whoever it may be, and if he doesn't see it, he can just get out the gate like as fast as possible. Like his first step is crazy. He's super quick, and he's different to the fact of he's a shorter guy, so it's actually harder to see him back there, and I think that's more of an advantage to his game defensively, just because you really can't see him, and it's hard to get a good read on him when he's back there scanning throughout the pocket. I know a lot of people would say that it's a disadvantage for him just because he can't see over the line, but he makes it work. So they have a lot of similarities. They all can take it 60 yards, 70 yards to the house, which we've seen before, but they're different in the fact of how they move. Kyler is a lot more quicker than those guys, and he's able to spray.
Adrian, DeAndre Hopkins missed a healthy chunk of the first part of the season. Now that he's been back, how different is this Arizona offense, if at all, with him in there versus those games early in the year where they didn't have a guy who might be stamped for the Hall of Fame already?
Exactly. I mean, when you look at a guy like D-Hop, you see a guy that's able to make something when nothing's there. He can be blanketed. It really doesn't matter. It can be one person, 2 people, 3 people. It doesn't matter. He's able to make the play at any time, and that's his security blanket. He knows if he doesn't have anything else that he has D-Hop. And when you have that type of athlete on the field, it makes the game a whole lot easier for him and harder for the defense, just because you can do everything right, but when it's those 50-50 balls, he's able to go up there and get it with one hand, and he comes down with it more times than not.
Yeah, with Hopkins, the career speaks for itself, but he's not the biggest wide receiver. He's not the fastest wide receiver. What makes him so is it his hands? Is it his route running? It seems like he's always in bounds, no matter where the ball, like he always is able to tap his feet in bounds, but again, not the overwhelming speed that we see some of these other receivers have, or even strength, and yet he's as productive as anybody.
Yeah, I think it's just his hands and his dog mentality. I think one year with the Texans, he had 1,000 yards with like 8 different quarterbacks. Like, that's hard to do. A lot of receivers can't do that. So when you see a guy like him that's able to create those game-changing plays like that, you really have to tune into what he does, and what he does well. He's just able to catch the ball, position his body, and he has great hands, and that's the reason he gets paid the big bucks. He makes those crazy catches.
Adrian Phillips here with Gresh and Keefe on a Patriots Friday. When you look at the core of the Cardinals offense, what's the one thing you got to do to slow them down? Because, Adrian, it feels like week to week they're different. Sometimes they run it well. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes Kyler Murray's ripping his coach coming off the field. Like, I can't figure them out. What is the key to kind of dealing with the Cardinals offense?
Yeah, I think they do a great job game planning the defense that they're going against that particular week. So you pretty much just have to stop the flavor of the week. Like one week they might run counters 6-7 times a game. Another week they might feature Kyler a little bit. A little bit. Another week they might throw 10 screens. So just whatever the flavor of the week is, you have to get them off that schedule, get them off pace of that, and be able to contain Kyler in the pocket because the play is going to break down. We're going to have maybe 10 to 12 plays in a game where it's going to break down and he's going to be out there scrambling. And we just have to limit the yards that they gain after that. We have to find our receivers and we have to be able to make the play when it's there. And when he's back there running, we have to find a way to get him on the ground quick.
And when you're preparing for games, I know you're always watching the opposing offense and seeing what you can do to stop those guys. But when you're just watching a regular game, do you find yourself watching other safeties and sort of seeing what they're doing and what works, what doesn't work? Because on the other side in this game, Budda Baker, another guy who's put together a hell of a career.
Man.
Not many safeties better than him. Is that something that you do when you're watching just other games?
When you say other games, like, do you mean just on the TV or when I'm, like, breaking down film?
Yeah, well, because I assume you're breaking down offenses because that's who you're going against. But if you're just sitting there watching Thursday Night Football or if you guys are off on a Sunday watching, do you find yourself looking at safeties a little bit more?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think there's ever a time where I can just be a fan and just sit there and watch the game and not critique a play or a player or analyze what I see. So when I'm watching the game and you see a guy like specifically Budda, since you talked about him, you see a missile like he's 100 miles an hour. But even outside of being a missile, he's a smart player. He diagnoses things really well. He's able to disguise well. Like he's able to contort his body in certain ways just so he can elude a blocker or make a tackle or make a play on the ball. So you see stuff like that and you say, okay, I see how that works against a certain player or a certain type of technique. And you might try it a little bit. I mean, if it works for him, you know, it might work for you too. But the difference is, like, he's a exceptional athlete. Everybody
Right.
playing the safety position, they aren't as athletic as he is. So you take a little bit and you kind of mold it into your own.
Back-to-back West Coast road games, so you ready for what feels like a working vacation?
Man, you know, it's crazy. It's gonna be a long flight and a long week with 2 games away from your family. So guys are gonna be thinking about that, but it's also another time for us to kind of bunker down in the hole a little bit. Like, we know we're kind of in enemy territory a little bit, and it's a chance for us to get closer and worry about ourselves and really focus on the things that we need to focus on. So if we do what we're supposed to do, it can really be a good trip for us. And on Monday, when we get back from Las Vegas, we can really say that, hey, that was worth it. What we did was worth it. We don't want to waste any time.
All right, so last thing for you. We know you're a vested veteran. You've been around the league a while. Does Monday Night Football still do it for you? A little extra oomph considering it's Monday night, or is this just another game?
You know, this is what you live for. It is another game. It definitely is another game. You can't make it bigger than what it is, but it's always great playing in the primetime games, whether it's Monday or Sunday, because growing up, this is what you saw your favorite players playing in. Like, when I grew up, this is what I saw Vic playing in. This is what I saw the Cowboys playing in. So being in it is always, you're always grateful to be in that position because you work so hard to be able to play in the primetime games and you know everybody's watching, but at the same time you can't make it bigger than what it is.
Oh, one other thing. Now that Marcus Jones is on offense, anybody on the defense now lobbying to get line up at fullback, maybe a little tight end touchdown, something like that?
You know, I'm always lobbying to do that. So I'm hoping Bill throws me in there a little bit so I can show him what I can do a little bit.
Are you running back, wide receiver? Where would you want to be?
Wide receiver for sure. But anything that gets the ball in my hand.
There we go.
It doesn't really matter.
Adrian, this
Love it.
is the second time we talked to you. You've been great with us this year. Thanks a bunch. Travel safe. Have a great Monday, and maybe we'll talk to you down the road. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for having me. Y'all enjoy the weekend.
All right.